Welcome back to another episode of Joe vs. Joe. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're back at it with our preseason previews. And today we're going to be reviewing the Pac-12, which is exciting. If you haven't seen our previous shows, just look down here in the description. The other videos will be there. We've discussed a few conferences already. And please hit the subscribe button. This show is all about your participation with us. We want to hear what you have to say. And when the season starts, we are going to share a lot of what you have to say. And Jordan, where can they follow us and see us?
They can follow us at Joe vs. Joe,
Right
JOVSJOE, on
That's
Instagram and Twitter. So when in doubt, just look that up and you'll probably find us somewhere. So yes, and this is the Joe vs. Joe show.
Here we are. We're back at it with our Pac-12 season preview. And we're just going to jump right. Oh, no, we're not going to jump right
Well, I
in.
just want to say, I do want to preface, I don't know if we've mentioned this a lot before, maybe just in the first episode. We are Utah fans, so this is home for us.
Pac-12 is our sweet spot. We are Pac-12 country.
We obviously go to a lot of Pac-12 games, so Pac-12 is what we know best. And we will also, don't worry, we will talk about the drama that has been in the Pac-12 because there's been lots of drama. But this is home for us, so this is going to be an extra special episode. Joseph got to wear our Utah pride today.
Mostly because Jordan is just a better person and wanted to represent another team in the Pac-12,
I'm representing Washington today. Go Huskies. But we love the Pac-12. But yes, we are both Utah fans. So
Both
just
Utah
had to give
fans.
that little spiel, but let's jump right into it.
With that, though, with jumping right into the Pac-12, we have a thing on this show. It's called our goggles. Lots of fans have their team's goggles on, meaning when we talk about us, sometimes we have our Utah goggles on. When we can't see anything wrong with our team, we predict they're going to go undefeated every year, and we think they're going to win the national championship, and then we get humbled. Well, sometimes, as college football fans, whatever fan that you are of, you sometimes have to take off your goggles and see the reality.
We talk about that a lot on the show, taking off the goggles and just whatever. We really, really try to do that. Both of us really try hard to do that. It's getting harder and harder, especially with the hype Utah's been getting. I don't know if any of you know this, but a lot of preseason stuff says Utah is right in there for the CFP.
Little shout out.
And so very scary, and it's really hard to take off the goggles, but we are going to try our hardest.
And you know what? We did. We took them off, and maybe we were still a little favorable. We did take off the goggles. We honestly, in our family, as we've said in previous episodes, we don't believe in preseason garbage. Preseason garbage is garbage. Granted, we're giving you a lot of preseason garbage, but it's all in fun. It's all fun, and we are letting you participate as well. So send in your thoughts.
That's what gets us hyped up for college football. So
we love it. But you never believe the preseason garbage. Injuries, change of coach, anything in the middle of the season, a global pandemic, for heaven's sake, could change everything in a season. So you never know what's going to happen, but this is what we believe is going to happen. We've taken off our goggles.
Or tried to at least.
But our Pac-12 goggles are still on, so you never know.
So with that, we are going to head on to our top 5 teams in the conference. I do want to go through all of the teams really quick too. But we're going to do our top 5 teams and why they are our top 5 teams, go through their record. So Joseph, with that being said, who are your top 5 in the Pac-12?
Well, I have a tie in record, but the team that I think is going to win the regular season in the Pac-12 is USC. I'm buying into the Lincoln Riley crap, and you know what? I don't know if he's a proven coach, kind of. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But a lot of hype is going to USC right now. I think they're going to do very well. I think they're going to go 11-1. I think their only loss is going to come to UCLA at the end of the year. I just think it's just going to be a drama-filled game, and too much emotion is going to get the best of them. I think they're going to biff it, and they're going to lose that one, go 11-1, 8-1 conference, and go to the Pac-12 championship. Another thing to mention, this year, the Pac-12, there is going to be an East and a West in
North
that
and South.
North. Wow. This is why she's so good. There will be a North and a South, but the the top two record teams, the top two teams that have the best record, will go to the Pac-12 championship, not the best from the North or the South.
Yeah, previously it's been the number one team from the North and the number one team for the South. The only reason we have a North and a South this year is it was kind of how the schedule's already played out. But they're really doing away with that, and we no longer. So that's why last year it was Oregon versus Utah in the Pac-12 championship. This year it could be Utah USC, it could be Utah UCLA, UCLA USC, it could be anyone.
Yeah. We didn't mention anyone from the North on that one, but still,
it could be Oregon State.
You never know, but yeah.
Oregon, Washington State.
I think in second place, though, Utah will come in at 11-1 as well. However, the one loss that they're going to have is to USC. It's going to be drama in Salt Lake City. We're going to mention more about that later. But coming in third, I have UCLA, 10-2. Chip Kelly is finally going to have the Bruins rolling and working. It'll be very interesting, in my opinion. Washington State going to come in at 9-3 and in fourth place. And then I've got Oregon State finally on the rise. Good for them at 9-3 as well. But the reason they're in fifth is because they lose to Washington State.
So you do not have Oregon in your top 5.
I have them at 6. It's so bad, and maybe I should, but I think they took a little step down, and then other teams have taken a step up.
So you're not believing the preseason hype with Oregon at all?
No, preseason garbage.
Wow, no Oregon in the top 5.
Who's your top 5?
Okay, well, I will say Oregon is in my top 5.
Okay.
Anyway, so funny story. I did this twice. First time I did it, I had Utah. No, I did not have Utah. I had USC, UCLA top 1 and 2 going to the Pac-12 championship. Wow. But I just did not feel good about it. Partly, I maybe put my goggles back on for a little bit, or maybe took them off too much. I don't know. I changed it. And so now I do have Utah at number 1. I have them at 11-1, and they're only lost to UCLA, actually.
Wow.
I think they're going to they always drop a ball in the middle of the season to a team they should beat. Last year it was Oregon State. This year I think it's going to be UCLA. It's at UCLA. They're going to be...
That's a trap game for sure.
It's a trap game. And so they're going to be 5-0 hopefully by that point, or at least according to my record thing. And then the USC is the game after that, so that's why I think they're going to win that game. Okay, next I have USC at number 2, and I have USC at 11-1 too, only losing to us. I have number 3, UCLA at 10-2, losing to Oregon and USC. And then I have number 4, Oregon. Okay. So I do have them in my top 5.
You look right at me when you say that.
Yes, I do. Oregon. Yeah. I have them at 9-3, losing to Georgia, BYU, or not BYU, Georgia, Utah, and Oregon State.
I need to change something there. We have our amendments episode gonna come up here in a little bit.
Looks like Joseph's gonna be making lots of
I have lots of amendments. Yeah, I looked at the Big 12. I need to change everything.
Okay, next, number 5, I have Washington State coming in at 8-4.
Not bad.
So that's my top 5. I want to hear the rest of yours, though. So you said 6 is Oregon. Where does everyone else? The reason I asked this too is if you were following along with us last year, we actually followed Arizona every single week, not because they were good, but because they were winless for quite far into the season. Like, I don't even remember. Well, it was like 0-8 before they won a game.
Not to get too into my order, I actually don't have it all listed out in that way. I know you do. We'll talk about your order, but I will say I do have. Oh, it hurts. It hurts me to say this, and we are going to need to follow them again. Last year we followed them, like as you said, because they hadn't won a game for a while.
We were rooting
but they
for
did
you
end
guys.
up with 1 win. It was great.
Yeah.
However, I have them winless. I don't have them
completely winless, not winning a game.
0-12, and
that'd be worse than last season.
I actually have them losing to North Dakota State.
Bless.
I shouldn't, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. You should not go with this, but
I have you as a little better. Don't worry.
Yeah, but we will probably need to follow them, and we will follow our winless teams as well. We'll give them shout-outs.
We always follow our winless teams.
Bless them. But Jordan, what's your full order of the Pac-12?
Okay. So number 6, I have Oregon State. Oregon State and Washington State actually had the same record at 8-4, but Washington State did get the tiebreaker with that because they beat Oregon State. Then 7, I have Washington. I think they're going to make a comeback this year. They're obviously not going to be good, but I think they're going to be a lot better than last season.
Rep them, though, Jordan. Rep them.
Yes, Washington.
Go Huskies.
Then number 8, I have Arizona State. They're falling a little this year, and they're just in trouble this year.
They are in trouble.
So
they lost a lot of people.
Bless them. 8. Then 9, I have Arizona. So I am not near as bad as Joseph with the Arizona hate. I actually have them at 3 and 9. So I have them winning 3 games.
Ooh,
so
wait. Who are they beating?
Better than last season.
Who do you have them beating?
I have them beating North Dakota State.
Okay.
I have them beating Cal. And I have them beating Colorado. So
Not bad.
I'm hopeful. Then 10th, I have Cal. Sorry, Cal. And 11th, I have Colorado, which Colorado, yikes, I have them at 2 and 11. And then Stanford at 12th. And I have Stanford being 0 and 9 in conference and 1 and 11 overall. Not bad. Maybe we'll need to follow Stanford. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The bottom of the Pac-12 right now.
It's so hard because they're all so bad. No offense.
We might have to make some amendments on you, but I don't know what. I don't know. It's very top heavy in the Pac-12 this year, and it's really up for grabs. It's anybody's game in the top
heavy
half.
and honestly, Utah can take it. USC could take it. UCLA could take it. Oregon could take it, but also Washington State and Oregon State could take it.
Yeah.
There's
oh yeah.
A lot.
Everybody's gunning for it.
And now it's just so crazy with that. It's just the top 2 teams. It really is.
And with that though, Jordan, we have a lot of big games.
We have lots of big games.
And it's going to be so exciting. Lots of drama though, especially the drama coming from USC and UCLA.
Yeah, let's talk about that really quick. Go ahead.
USC and UCLA, long story short, have decided to move on from the Pac-12, which they pretty much originated from, and move on to the Big Ten. And you know what?
The thing is no one knew about it. The Pac-12 commissioner didn't know about it. No one knew about it until the news broke.
Exactly. And so
the deal was done already.
USC and UCLA have been working on this for months with the Big Ten.
And no one else knew. It was kept under wraps.
And so they're going to do that. It's honestly, you can't be too mad at them. It's a good move for them. They're going to make a lot more money.
But it's just the rest of the Pac-12 that obviously really hurts.
Yeah. It's
no longer going to be the Pac-12. We don't know what's going to happen. There's lots of changing. Some could go to the Big 12. Some could go to the Big 10. Some could... The Pac-12 could either just completely dissolve into other conferences, or we could bring on new teams. We could combine with something. So much unknown.
It's
crazy.
That's kind of why we haven't really touched much on the conference realignment stuff, because it changes every day. And so once we get a little bit more of a hold on that, we might have a special podcast on that. However, at the moment,
it's no longer
YouTube
just a
channel, podcast show.
The Joe vs.
Joe show. But yeah, anyway.
Let us know your thoughts too, though. What do you think is going to happen? Because it is really interesting to talk about. There's so many scenarios right now. So send us in what you think is going to happen.
Send us what you think.
Or what should happen.
What you want.
What you want to happen.
Oh.
And tell us what team you are for when you tell us who you want. Because, Utah fans obviously want one thing. Other fans want another thing. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Try to take your goggles off for one and then leave your goggles on for another.
And let us know. But with that, we are going to enjoy the last few moments of the Pac-12. So we're really relishing in that.
USC, UCLA, we have you for at least a few more years. So
but it's also drama-filled, and it feels like it's everyone against USC and UCLA
So,
right now.
Jordan, with that, though, we have a lot of big games coming up, conference games and non-conference games. What games are you seeing right off the bat?
So we have 2 SEC games week 1, 2 Pac-12 SEC matchups. We have Utah, Florida, week 1, which I will say we will be at that game. So we will be reporting live from Florida. Anyway, excited about that.
In the swamp.
So there you go. Then we have Oregon and Georgia. Now it's a neutral site, but is it neutral? Because it's in Atlanta.
Atlanta Falcons Stadium, yeah, no.
Not neutral. It's at Georgia. It's just not at the Bulldog Stadium.
But yeah, it's gonna be. Oregon does travel well, but not that well.
And I will say, Oregon has an advantage in that their new head coach is the Georgia defense, the former Georgia defensive coordinator, the one that helped them win the national championship last year. I will say they have an advantage in that, but Georgia definitely has the bigger advantage, and I think Georgia's going to win.
Because Georgia is Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, look out. Then, Jordan, we have Washington at Michigan State week 2. That would be interesting. Washington is still trying to find their identity again. Like they were good. They were really good, and then they've struggled.
Last year they were bad.
And they're trying to find their identity. This is a great game to kind of show a new identity. And
it's at Michigan State, which is hard, but we'll see how they are with this. We have probably the biggest in-conference game.
Most drama-filled game.
Most drama-filled, maybe biggest. These two teams are probably the most talked about teams in the Pac-12 right now. Utah and USC, and it's at Utah. It's right smack dab in the middle of the season.
There's a lot of potential that both of these teams could be undefeated at that point. Potential, whatever. Even if they both have one loss,
it's still going to be insane. Obviously, both big candidates for the Pac-12 championship. They both could go to the Pac-12 championship game. Both are talked of in the CFP.
It might be round 1 for the conference championship.
Yep.
It'll be crazy.
It's going to be a drama-filled, crazy game, and that is USC at Utah.
Next, we have BYU at Oregon. That will be, I think it's week 3, right? Week 3? Yeah, week 3. And so, that will be very interesting. BYU is going to be a big test for Oregon. Oregon maybe potentially having lost to Georgia. They would probably win their second game against Eastern Washington.
I would hope.
They've really got to get a new identity with their new coach, with their new system, with everything. This is a big game for Oregon.
BYU is getting to be a more established program.
Right, heading to the Big 12.
Yep, and they are good. They're on a roll right now. Last year they had a great season, so that's really hard. Also, BYU does play really well on the road.
A little side note. For Utah fans, I think we've mentioned BYU in every single one of our episodes so far. So BYU fans,
that's us taking off our goggles.
We take off our goggles. We're nice to you too. Granted, I do think it will be a big game for both teams.
Absolutely. BYU, I think, plays Baylor the week before.
Yeah.
So 2 big games right in a row.
BYU, your first part of their schedule is so fun.
That's going to be a crazy game. Who do you have winning that game?
I actually have BYU winning that game.
Really? I actually have Oregon winning that game.
Wow, you gave love to BYU last time, and now I'm giving love to BYU this time.
Yep. There you go.
Don't you love both of us? Anyway, so, big game there. We also have Washington State at Wisconsin, which should be a good game. Washington State is kind of finding they were forming an identity last year.
Yeah, they were doing.
They had a lot of drama last year, though, losing their coach due to COVID political reasons. And, the new coach, he just stepped up and ran with it. And the players rallied around him. They did very well. They throw the ball a lot. But, Washington State at Wisconsin will be a very interesting game because Wisconsin's always tough.
And I think that's at the beginning of the season, right? It's, week 2.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
And then, of course, we end the year with Notre Dame at USC. Quite a game.
Crazy.
It's going to be wild.
Who do you have winning that one?
I actually have USC winning it.
I also do, too. It's at USC, too.
That's why.
And Lincoln Riley will finally have had pretty much a whole season to really get them ready. They might start off rocky. Maybe they'll start off on fire. I don't know. But by then, I think, will really be getting established and figured out.
It'll be a big, interesting game. I'd love to go to that game.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. All right. With that, though,
I think another notable mention game maybe would be Utah at Oregon, just given what happened last year.
Yeah, it's a trap game
I
for
feel
Utah
like it's definitely a trap game for Utah, but also it's been kind of back and forth with Utah, Oregon. I feel like the right team can never win, if that makes sense. Because a couple years ago in 2019, when Utah was hopeful to go to the CFP right at the end of the season, if they won the Pac-12 championship, they would have gone to the CFP, most likely. That's how the rankings were.
They're dream crushers. Well, they crush each other's dreams.
Yeah, they crush. And Oregon won the Pac-12 championship, beat Utah that year, crushing Utah's hopes of going to the Pac-12 championship. Going to the CFP. Yes, they were at the Pac-12 championship. Then last year, Oregon was the CFP hopeful, number 3 during the season. At the end of the season, it was the second to last game, and Utah clobbered them, thus ending their hopes to go to the CFP again. And then Utah also won the Pac-12 championship against them. So they kind of have maybe some
It's a great revenge game for Oregon.
So that's why it's kind of a notable game. It's at Oregon. We will also be going to that game. So we'll let you know.
Coming your way. But yeah, it'll be
just lots of drama.
Big stuff going on in the Pac-12. And Pac-12 tends to just beat each other up anyway.
They do.
So with that, Jordan, we have some sleepers. If it wasn't Utah, USC, UCLA, or even Oregon winning the Pac-12 championship, maybe Oregon. Who are your sleepers to maybe win the Pac-12?
Without those top four, those are all my top four.
Maybe just who are outside of who would be a random team for you to win the Pac-12.
I gotta go. If I'm gonna just completely dismiss those four teams, I think the two teams that have the best shot are USC and Utah. So I think the next tier is UCLA and Oregon would be like my biggest sleepers of, they could definitely win it. But then I think you cannot count out Washington State and Oregon State. And then that would be my next tier of sleepers. Washington State and Oregon State were one game away from going to the Pac-12 championship last year. Yeah. If Oregon had lost their last game, one of them would have gone instead. And so it's like don't count them out.
No,
don't count them out. So those are my sleepers. Definitely UCLA and Oregon, but also Washington State and Oregon State.
I'm in full agreement here. This is not a Joe versus Joe moment. This is a Joe agreeing with Joe moment. I am in full agreement. I think it would be wonderful. I think it'd be really cool to have Oregon State win it. Just outside of Utah, obviously, in my heart. My goggles are off. My goggles are off. But how fun and random would it be for Oregon State to just pop in there and win the Pac-12?
Yeah.
But what? It'd be really cool. And I love the Beavers. I love the.
They have a cute little mascot.
They have a cute little mascot. Good for them. But no, I'm in full agreement with Jordan. It'd be great. So
cool. Okay, that being said, we kind of are talking about sleepers in the conference championship. Who do you have going to the conference championship, and then who do you have winning the conference championship?
Goggles off. I have USC going to the Pac-12 championship. Also with Utah. That's a goggles off moment.
Year one with this North and South gone, and already two teams from the South. Cool.
But that's goggles off. That's my honest opinion. I think if I to bet a lot of money, which I'm not,
and that's what a lot of preseason people are saying too. So
I would bet that that's going to happen. What is going to happen? Honestly, that's the biggest toss-up ever. I have no idea what to say with it, because I think the first game with USC beating Utah, in my opinion, is going to be so close. Mm-hmm. And then I think also in the Pac-12 championship, I think it's also going to be so close. Granted, USC had playing Notre Dame the week before, so they might be a little beat up. Utah not having that.
Utah will have just played Oregon. Not Oregon, Colorado.
So not an equal test at all the week before.
They do play Oregon the week before that, so 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens there. To me, it's a scratch. I can't say who's gonna win or gonna lose.
I want to say it. Put one out.
I can't. You go first, and then I'll tell you.
I don't know either. I do have Utah and USC also in the conference championship, and it's just so hard to pick a winner from that. And it is interesting because they do play each other in the regular season as well. It's so hard, Utah goggles. I have my choice.
I have my choice. The reason it's so hard is because my goggles are still on.
So do you have USC winning?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I have USC winning as well, actually. I think I have to pick them.
I want to be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but
we actually both said Oregon was going to win the Pac-12 championship last year.
We did.
And Utah won, so maybe we should both say USC's going to win. USC's going to win.
But yeah, it will be a very interesting year. Lots of potential for maybe a team to sneak in the CFP. Lots of potential for it to not have that happen. We still, the winner will still go to the Rose Bowl. Lots of potential for noise and everything like that. It'll be really fun. Let us know what you think, though. We want to know what your opinions are. Did we have our goggles on too much? Did we take them off enough? Did we take them off too much? Are they sealed tight on our eyes? You never know. Let us know what you think.
Please subscribe, comment, share it, all the things. We are so grateful for your support.
Yep. Thank you
and
for watching.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.